Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first online training for table tennis rules from TTV DOV in Heergewaard. We are happy that we can use the accommodation here to do the training. I hope everything is clear and the stream is easy to follow for you. My name is Robert Holscher. I'm your trainer today, and I do that together with our team, a small team because of the Corona situation. Of course, with us is UI, and I will put the right captions in there because uh, that is, of course, UI, and UI will assist me together with the training today. The ones who have actually got an invitation from us and made clear to participate today. They have received an email from me, and it's important that you would have the sheet, the PDF printed, and the printed PDF is going to be needed in after the session to make your answers clear. When you make the exam at the end of the session together with us, we will translate the questions and answers and you will fill out the form. Then afterwards you make a picture of your sheet or you send in the answers by email to my email address, and I will put that in the chat later on when we start the exam. First of all, very good remark from my assistant that I have to play a record and that we also can record complete session. All right, let's start. Table tennis rules are very important, and it's very important that you know the rules well because this will make life a lot easier. There's no conflict. There's no conflict with your opponent if you both know the rules. And if a rule is applied, there's no discussion. And therefore, table tennis rules are very important to do and to know. There are a lot of rules which are there, and I will go through them, of course, quickly because we only have an hour and there's a lot of things to explain about the rules. And the most important rules, I will go deeper into the details. For this, I also would like to start with the situation in the competition. Most of you will play competition, and of course not now with the Corona crisis, but hopefully we can do that quickly again. But there are a couple of things about table tennis. There's about the materials. There's things about the clothing, the etiquette. There's a lot of things to explain. In the higher region of table tennis, you play normally with an official referee. I'm also a referee for table tennis, and with the higher league players, they should know the rules, and there's an official referee with it. Most of the time, too, and that's to see all the angles of the table. But on the normal competition in the lower leagues, you normally have to count yourself, or your opponent is team is counting the games. So it's also good for you as a referee when you're counting the match of your team that you have the right rules. And so we will start. And the starting is actually going into the table tennis arena and explain about the different things which will happen. And I will start off with the materials and what is actually allowed and what is not allowed. All right. We see the table tennis table. Table tennis table is 76 centimeters high. It's 1 meter 52 wide, and it is 2 meters and 76 centimeters long. You will see a couple of things on the table. You will see this line. This is 2 centimeters. You will see a net and a net posting. And when we talk about the net, we talk about everything. The post, the net itself, all the things attached to the net. Even when you go to the official games with cameras, if you have a camera on the side of the net, it's still considered the net. What is also the net, and this is very important, is this part, the clamp. The clamp, when the ball hits the clamp here, even if it's over the table, it is still hitting the net. Can you zoom in on that case? Yes, okay, thank you. So often, I will explain this immediately, often when there's some situation that the ball is hitting the net and it's then touching the net clamp and then going outside the table, people think, it's a good ball because it was over the table area. But that's not true. It hits the net and it's going from the net outside the table. So point is actually for your opponent when that happens. This is one of the things I get a lot of questions about as a referee. Good. The net. How high is the net? The net, and this is important because it's also one of the questions which might come up in the quiz, is 15.25 centimeters high. How can we measure that? That is exactly 15.25 centimeters high. Is we have these nice tools. Most of your clubs will have such a tool, and you put it on the net. And if it's almost touching or actually touching, you adjust it by turning the wheel and you get it to the right height. Right? Is there also a question about how strong is the tension? Yes. And this is something people won't have, but official referees have them. This is a 100-gram metal piece, and this is like the strength of the net to test. There's an extra notch here, and if this notch is here, it should not bend too much the net in there. So this is a good tension. If there's no tension, you will see that immediately. But that is material, what you are using. You will see then there's a middle line. This line is actually of no use when you play singles, but it's only in use when you play doubles, and we will explain that later on. Good, UI is there, and UI has a racket and a ball. The racket and the ball is very important, of course, in the table tennis match. The ITTF, the International Table Tennis Federation, is putting rules on the table tennis racket. And it has rules. First of all, the table tennis racket needs to be made out of 85% wood. So that is one of the conditions. So it cannot be of metal. It cannot be of anything else. It needs to be 85% of wood. The shape, does it matter? No. It can have any shape you want. It can be very big, like a 1 meter size if you want, but it can also be very small. It can be triangle. It can be weird shaped. There's no rule about the shape of the racket. There's another rule which is important. If you can turn around the racket, UI. The racket has two sides, and the two sides have two different colors. The racket should always have a black and a red color. There are grips for pen holders. You know, if you have a pen holder grip and people play like this, you normally don't play with the backhand side or the back side of your racket, so you don't need a rubber there. Is there also a rule for that? Yes, you can play with one side rubber. It doesn't matter if it's red or the black side, but the other side, then, if it's only wood, needs to be painted in the other color. So that means that if the one rubber is black and the other side is not having a rubber, then it should be painted the other color. If you then hit during the rally with the wooden side, it's immediately a point. No. When there's no rubber, I mean, so when you have chosen not to put the rubber on, when you hit it with that side, which is not having a rubber, that's an illegal hit, and then there's a point for the opponent. So that's the very important thing. The ball. The ball is, in competition-wise and ITTF standard, it's a 3-star ball. It's made out of plastic, and it's just a bit bigger than 40 millimeters. The ball is white or can be orange. and it's a table tennis ball. The racket, I have to tell you, if you hold the racket, in this case in your right hand, right, like UI is doing, that's your racket hand. So the hand holding the racket is the racket hand. If she switches during the rally from one hand to the other hand turns into the racket hand. You can only hit the ball with the racket in your hand. So don't try to throw your racket towards the ball to save a ball, because it's an illegal hit. What is considered your racket? Your racket is considered everything until the rest. So if you hold it in your hand, everything until the wrist. Can you point the wrist? Yeah. So everything you hit on your racket hand, that area is. So even if you by accident put it on your hand, but holding the racket, and the ball goes on the right side of the table and is a legal hit, that's allowed. I have to tell you another thing which is coming up now. If you by accident, and I explicitly say by accident, hit the ball twice with the part I just indicated, so everything above the wrist, so by accident, by making a shot, like if you can then, yeah, like that, then it's still a legal shot. If you do it on purpose, so if you lift up the ball and then try to smash it, that's not that is not by accident, and that's an illegal shot. So if you by accident hit it twice, even during the service, that's still legal and play continues. What do we consider a rally? A rally is considered an exchange of hits with your opponent until a point is made, or until a let is called by the referee. Let is called by the referee when something is happening that the referee has to intervene. That can be a ball in the arena which comes from an outside. Then he calls a let because it will interfere with the play of the players. And all the rules in table tennis are made to have a fair play. So even if you're counting the games for your teammate and your opponent, please be as fair as you can, because that is what is the game about. And you want to have a fair player and a fair win, instead of being of winning with some tricks and trickery. So most of the rules are actually based to make a fair game. Also with the rubbers need to be ITTF approved. And if I can have a moment, case to show, there are lists of the ITTF, which referees always have, and there's a complete list of course, there's a handbook of the ITTF, but there's a complete list with all the allowed rubbers. This list is updated every half a year by the ITTF, and on the rubbers itself, if you can zoom in on the rubbers, there's an ITTF logo. If you can see that, I don't know, it's possible on the camera. Then you see the brand, and you can look up the ITTF number on the list if you are an official referee. It is not happening too often in the lower leagues, but that's the official rule, that the rubbers has to be ITTF approved and are current on the list, right? So that's important. If you have a rubber which is damaged, and I can show you some tests about the rubber. So if I can have your racket for a moment, thank you. A referee in official leagues, they will check the racket. They will check the racket if it has the two colors, right? If it is approved by the ITTF, the rubbers. If the rubbers are not damaged on the sides, because if there is some damage inside the rubber, which can affect the ball during play. And also they will test with this little notch on this tool, as you can see. They will test the thickness of the rubber. If the rubber is thicker in total with the sandwich, you see the red is the sandwich, and then the rubber is thicker than 4 millimeters, it's not allowed. Of course, this is not happening in the lower leagues because nobody is doing this, but this is actually the official way. So the official way is that the racket needs to be within the 4 millimeters. If you are playing with pips out, there's some other rules, but I don't go into that. But in the sandwich with the pips in, which means a flat rubber, it needs to be 4 millimeters or less. Okay, so this racket is allowed, so I will allow it. It's there with the racket, and if I'm an opponent and I want to see if somebody is playing with pips in, pips out, long pips, these are rubbers you need to know how they play, and you can always ask your opponent to check, okay, what kind of rubbers are you playing with, and the opponent has to allow it. You cannot say, no, I don't want you to look at my racket. It's always a prerogative of your opponent to ask for to show your racket. So that's a very important thing. Good. What is allowed and what's not allowed? As Yue now sees, she is wearing not the table tennis outfit. Normally this is not allowed. What is also not allowed? Can you put it on? You can not play with a cap. Why can't you play with a cap? Of course, when it's for religious reasons, like a head cloth or for anything else, that's allowed. But a cap like this, like recreative purposes, is not allowed. Why? Because in the heat of the rally, you could choose to flip off your head on the table. And when that's happening, it's a let. Because that's the rules, because there's an influence outside your table tennis rally, and the referee has to call a let. So to prevent this kind of misbehavior, so hats are not allowed. Is it allowed to play in your training suit? No, it's not allowed to play in your training suit unless you have a medical condition stating that you can play in your training suit. So even if you think, it's cold in the room in the arena, no, it's not allowed to play in your training suit. Is it allowed to use a white shirt? No, why not? If you can give the ball, you can see what happens if you wear a white shirt. The opponent is actually tricked because he cannot see the ball correctly, so white shirts are not allowed. Can I use a white shirt when I have an orange ball? Yes, you can, because then the contrast is there. The rule is not applying. Good, a lot of things we have already covered. What will happen with a rally? When does a rally start? A rally starts with the serve. And when does the serve start? That's also important. So UI, if you take the ball, yeah, and UI will stand ready to serve, and I will say when the serve starts. Yes, serve starts now. Why? Because she has the intention to make the serve. If she now changes her mind and goes to another place, yeah, she can do that. If she does it all the time, I will interfere as a referee because that's actually um, uh, trick the opponent and make them ready, and it's actually misbehavior in play. But if you do that because you change your mind, this is starting. So even if you are now very easy, the opponent has to see the ball all the time during the serve. That means that you cannot cover the ball like this. You cannot have the ball on the top of your fingers. That's also. Why? Because you can give special effects when throwing the ball up from the top of your fingers. So if you can do that, you can toss and give effect, right? You cannot throw the ball and block the side with your arm. So if you throw up, or that's also not allowed, correct? And the ball is always needing to be above table. So you cannot serve like that. So not starting, because as I said, the surface start is already here. So if you start and then go down and then up, it's still wrong. You have to keep the ball above table. So what do you can you do the serves from everywhere on the table? Yes, you can. In the single, you can do it from here, from here, from here, from here. Even if July position herself on the side of the net, but the ball is still behind, a bit complicated, but yeah, she can still do that. The ball needs to be behind the end line of the table. The end line of the table is here, case. That's the 2 centimeter line. The ball needs to be behind it. If the ball is above the table, yeah, it's wrong, because that's giving you an advantage, because the ball is quicker to the opponent, and the opponent has less time to react. So behind the line, above table, and then on the flat hand of the palm, you need to have the ball not blocking the side at all, right? So what is it with double? With double, you have to always serve from this end of the table diagonally to the other end of the table, and that's in this case where my phone is, right? So you have to do it diagonally. And what is important, the white line, because then the first bounce needs to be in this area, and the line is also still that area, and it needs to bounce for the second in this area for the doubles. If it's ending up here to here, it's fault. It's a point for the opponent. If it's coming from there to there, it's still fault, and it's also a point for the opponent. How you say, how can that happen? Well, some people serve right on the edge of the line, or they give some effect, and it just bounces maybe here to there, and most referees don't see that when in the or as you're counting, and that's still a wrong service. With single, you can serve from anywhere, right? Okay, then we go to the toss. The toss is tossing up the ball. So you take your stand, right? Yeah. And you need to toss up the ball at least 16 centimeters. 16 centimeters straight up, right? And you can only hit the ball when the ball has reached its zero velocity point and in the way down. So you cannot play the ball in the upright when it's going up, because that could actually, you can throw then the ball to your racket, right? And you can get extra speed. No, the ball needs to go up, and on the down movement you can hit it, right? And 16 centimeters from the hand, not from the table. So if you hold the hand like this and then do only a little bit, yeah, it's still not a good serve, even if you are that high above the table, because it needs to be free of your hand by 16 centimeters. What's 16 centimeters? That's about the height of the net. I explained 15.25. So if you can judge, oh, well, it was about the height of the net going up, that's good. Throwing the ball in a vertical position, it should be actually complete vertical, but some players have problems with that, and it's allowed to have a little bit of an angle. Not forwards, because then you're above table, so that's not allowed, because then the ball still starts above table. You can do that. But there is a little bit of an angle of 50 degrees, like this, that you can throw it. There's one rule: if you have to move your body to make your serve, it's an illegal serve, because then you're throwing the ball into a position that you have to move away. If you do that, if you see that, it's always an illegal serve. So make sure that it is checked. 16 centimeters straight up. And another thing is, you cannot block the ball side for your opponent by anything during the toss. So you cannot do it that, or you cannot serve under your arm. Please do an under your arm serve. Yeah, just so, and then keep your arm here, and then yes. At that moment that it drops behind her arm, it's actually out of sight for the opponent, so it's an illegal serve. How do you react as a referee to an illegal serve? If you're not sure about your legal serve, you will call a let, and a let is an interruption of the game without a point. And you will say to the player, please watch what you're doing. You're blocking the ball with your body. Then, if the player does it again, the point is actually going to the opponent because you should serve right. I know it's hard to judge this when you are doing your lower leagues games and matches, but this is actually the official table tennis rules. So if we all play by it, it will be a lot fairer to play. So be aware that this is taken into account. How can you block the ball? You can block the ball with your arm. So if I have the ball, please. So if you make a serve, you can keep your arm here, and it drops under your arm. You can also block it with your shoulder or your body, and you can also block it with your head. So these kind of things can block the side. So if you are, as an opponent, not seeing the ball when it's served, and the referee is not noticing it, you can notify the referee, say, okay, request a let, and a let is always during the rally by raising your hand. You play on until the referee calls a let. Don't take a let yourself because that's not allowed. The referee has to grant you the let, but you can request it by raising your hand. And then you can say to the referee, well, this is, to my opinion, a legal service, and can you please watch out for that? So that's about the toss. So the toss needs to be straight. It needs to be 16 centimeter high. In the downstroke, you have to play it so you cannot serve from your hand. And that's actually about the surface. When the surface is done or starting, you start first on your own half and then on the half of your opponent. If during the service the ball hits the net and touches the net and still goes right, it's called a net service. The referee is then calling not net, but is calling officially a let because it's a rally without a point. So the rally has started, but there's no point, so the referee calls a let and you serve again. This can be indefinitely. If you are serving the ball always with hitting the net, there's no penalty. I think you're quite skilled if you can do that, but there's no penalty. So also for the younger players, I've seen them also, they say, well, 2 times net service and then it's a point for the opponent. No, that's totally wrong. You can play as many net services as you want. Is the ball necessary to pass the net? No. The net is there, but if you are capable of doing trick shot serve and going around the net and still on the opponent's half, it's still considered good. Also during the rally, you don't have to go over the net. You see those nice trick shots on YouTube where the players are actually playing these shots so around and then they always go without any bounce, the slit of the table. And these are very nice. So, but they don't go over the net, but they pass the net without any problems. So that's important. So let is a rally without a point. Otherwise, a rally will always end in a point, either for the opponent or for the player. When is there a point? A point is there when, according to the rules, the exchange in the rally is ending up incomplete or illegal or whatever. That means basically in normal play, when you serve and the opponent hits back and he's missing the table, it's my point because he missed the table. Other way, if I miss the table, it's a point for him. What else is important? The side and the edge of the table. Side is this. That's not the table. So if you hit the side of the table, it's not hitting the table. So if somebody tries to do a round to net shot and he's hitting the side here, it's not considered to hit the table surface because you need to hit the table surface. So side is wrong, edge is right. So when do you see that? Normally when the ball is bouncing up a bit, it's hitting the top surface. If it's not bouncing up, it's probably hitting the side. Right? So that is one of the things to remember. That's the side and the edge of the table. Another thing is happening. For example, if UI is, and I will take my bet for a moment. So if we play a rally, so if you serve, no, do a good serve. There's one thing I didn't show. When you take the ball between your two fingers, it's also not allowed, but you need to have it on the palm of your hand. Right? So do a good service, okay? And this is a rally. And this is of course not a very good rally, but that's not the point. But if I do, this is a point for UI. I was want to do something else, but do a serve again. Yeah. If you play a ball over the table, if you so in the second shot, yeah, play it over the table. No, over the table. She's too good. She's too good. Yeah, that's of course a point for UI. But if I catch that ball before it's actually, so again, so she hits it over the table. But if I do this, it's a point for her because I blocked the ball before it had the chance to miss the table. And that is actually in the whole area true, where the ball is hit above this area without having bounced yet. So that is called blocking the ball. And it can be with your bat, but it can also with your shirt, with anything that you. But I will explain it. If you hit the ball and it hits your shirt on the way back, for example, you try to make a ball like this, and you hit it, and it hits your shirt here, it's still a point then for UI in this case, because I'm not allowed to stop the ball with anything else besides my racket, and that's called also blocking the ball. So blocking the ball is not good, and if you play over the table and then I catch the ball, yeah, so we do it again, and you play over the table, and now I catch the ball like this. It's not blocking the ball because the ball already missed. The rally is over. The point is mine. But that's not an issue. So that's a problem. Another thing I see very often: you toss a ball very high to me. Yeah. Now no, you and the second shot is a high shot. You saw what I did? This is not allowed. This is free hand on table. Your bat hand and your free hand, that's why I explained the bat hand and the free hand. The free hand supports you to make the smash, and that's not allowed. This is immediately points in this case for UI, because I'm not allowed to touch the table with my hand. I'm also not allowed to touch, even by my shirt or by my racket, the net during the rally. If that happens, also a point for your opponent. If I touch the table during the rally and it moves, it's a point for the opponent. So these things you need to remember. You cannot touch the table with any of these things that I just explained. There's one exception to the rule, and that is, for example, if you do ball rally. Ja? Ik ga eventjes de tafel raken. Sorry. Ja. If I hit in the stroke, I hit the table with my racket, not on purpose, but by accident, it's allowed. So with your hand, with your racket hand, that's why I explained to the rest, if you do this, that's allowed, because that's in the play, but it's not to support your body or anything else. So that is also a very important difference. Good. What else do we have? If we go back to the surface, UI is starting to serve. Why do we know that she's going to start to serve? That's because of the toss. If you start a match, Normally, you will shake hands with your opponent. Now, in the Corona crisis time, you don't shake hands because that's not something you would like to do now. Um, but we need to first, before you can warm up, right? You need to toss, and to toss can do official referees. And I'm looking for my coin now in my referee bag, which I cannot find too quickly. There's a tossing coin, and um, the guests. So if you're playing at home, the guests can always choose the coin side. So if UI and I are going to play table tennis in an official match, okay, we greet each other. Okay, well, welcome UI. We're going to the referee is going to toss, and he can do it with a coin. It can be any coin. It can be 50 cents, €1, but it can also be what sometimes is done if you can give me the ball. Um, what people do is they do it under the table and they say and select which side. If you win the toss, you have three options, and this is something that most of the people do not know. If you win the toss, you have to make a selection. You cannot say the opponent selects. No, you have to make a choice, and there are three choices. Either you start serving, you start receiving, or you choose table tennis table side, right? One of those three. If you choose to serve, automatically your opponent will receive, of course. But then the other choice of the table side choice is to your opponent. So if the opponent wants to change table side, he's allowed to do that, right? If you choose table side, your opponent has the choice either to receive or to serve, right? So you have one of so if you select the table side, your opponent has choose for the service to receive or to serve, and if you choose to serve or to receive, then the other option, the table side, goes to your opponent. So that's also an important start. Oh, okay. Yeah, you can put it on the screen. Correct. Yes, you can. Yeah. Good question. You see that also in these demonstration parties. You know, they hit their own side because they have flipped sides during the rally. You can move wherever you want. You can even, if you have time enough, to run from this end of the table to the other side around the table and then hit the shot again. If you're in time, that's good enough. So you don't have to stay on your own side. You can move freely. The only thing is what you need to do. What you cannot do is touch your opponent. So you cannot run to the other side, body check your opponent, and then run back. That's not allowed. So, but a good question indeed. Another thing which I forgot to mention during the serve: if you have the ball and during the serve, right? And this is something that Ocherov does, and you see that. He totally goes under the table and has his racket under the table. That's allowed. There's nothing said about the position of the player or the racket or has to be visible or whatever, as long as the ball is always visible in inside of the player. So if I can hold my racket like this, but if the so I can do this, there's no problem. So the racket does not have to be inside, and that's an important situation. What else do we have? Whenever a ball is in the rally and you're not sure if the ball touches something, right? It is to be expected that the ball touches something. And I will explain what I mean with this rule. Let's say we don't have this situation in our room here because in some table tennis arenas you have lights which are hanging on cables and you can play over the light, right? And people would think, oh well, in the rally, oh yeah, I made the save and I went over the light on the table. Is that allowed? No, because at that time that it's over the light, you don't know if the ball has touched something. It can be a spider rack, it can be something very thin. So the referee cannot check if that's hit the ball. So the ball is false, and his opponent gets the point. So make sure the ball always needs to, in the rally, be inside. That's also why in the official leagues we have two referees, and because two referees see more than one, and then the ball is always inside. So this can also be a question in the exam. I don't know if it will be, because the exam will be created after the session, but it can be that the ball um, jumps over a table light, and then it's wrong. So make sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, if it's behind the table, it's no problem. Along only it's wrong when you catch the ball when the ball has still a chance to hit the table. So if you catch it here, it's even if it's the arc is supposed to go here, but if you catch it above the table, it's wrong. But if you catch it behind the table or hit it back behind the table, no problem. There was in the past there was a rule that if you even if you play the ball wide outside the table and you still hit it on your racket, there was a point of your of the player who actually missed the table, but that rule is taken out, so that's no longer applicable. So if you do a miss hit with a smash and I play the ball back so he can serve again, that's no problem. It's still my point because he missed, right? So that's important. Good question. During the rally, um, that's basically what can happen, and so be aware of that. A double bounce is of course never good. So if a ball bounces twice on the table, it's a point for that side. Also coming back to the backspin ball, if I have a backspin ball and it goes from this end of the table without hitting the racket of the opponent and bounces back, and it bounces then back on my table, it's my point because the opponent needs to hit it. So if it bounces back and the opponent runs around the table and the ball is already here and it does this, it's good because he doesn't have to stay on his hand. So this is actually related to the question earlier, but then in an example. Good. Then the service. Service single. Service single is always the one who starts serving 2 points, then the serve goes to the other end, 2 points, then the serve goes to the other end, 2 points. Till the first one hits the 11 with a 2 points difference. With a 2 points difference, the game is to the guy or the girl who has the 11th point. If it's only, it says 10-10, the serve will go different. You will not do 2, 2, 2, 2, but you will do 1, 1, 1, 1, because then the game is ended when there's a 2 point difference. So a game could end at 13-11, 15-17, or 11-5. You know, when there's 2 points difference and the 11 point has been played or passed. So, but it needs to be 2 points difference. So with the 10 to 10-10, it's one serve all. When is there also one serve all? That is with expedition time. Expediting means that a game is taking, and this is a very, very, very hard to explain rule, but I hope you can be with me. Normally, a referee takes a stopwatch and starts the clock when when the first game is played or the second game is played. When the game is started, he clicks a stopwatch. The stopwatch is there for actual playing time. The stopwatch is stopped when the ball is out of the arena, or if there is a towel break, and I will come to the towel break in a moment. And if the stopwatch indicates 10 minutes actual playing time in that game, and the total of the points has not reached 18, let's say 9-9 or something like that, then the expedite time rule needs to be activated. And what that then, because that means that the rally is taking too long and the game is taking too long, and for the time to continue, there's a special rule then. So only on those conditions, so total of 18 points can be 9-9 or 5-5, is not been reached. The 18 points has not been reached in 10 minutes playing time, then the expedite time goes inactive. What does it mean? That means that at that time, when the 10 minutes is reached during the rally, the referee says let and stops the rally. He explains that the expedite time rule is applying, and the guy who started, or the girl who started that rally with the serve, will serve again. If the rally is already done and the point, and then the 10 minutes has been reached, so in the middle between two rallies, yeah, and there was one serve from this end, the serve automatically goes to the other end. So even if he had two servers left, now pity, it goes to the other end. So then it starts. And what you do then is it starts serving 1, 1, 1, 1. And then there's a special rule. If the receiver is playing back the ball 13 times in the rally, the point automatically goes to the receiver. So the guy or girl who's serving needs to make a point within 13 strokes. Otherwise, the point will automatically go to the guy who's or girl who's receiving the serve. And that is actually counted by another referee, because then you have 3 referees in the room, and he's counting them out of loud, the points, the hits. So, and only he's counting the hits of the receiver, and the hits need to be good. And there are 13 good hits, and then the point automatically. But then the referee says stop, point for them, and then the service goes over. That's the time rule. Expedite. Very complicated rule. See it hardly. I only, as my referee career, had it once, and that was with 2 defenders, and it was taking too long. Expedite time can also be arranged even before you arrive to the 10 minutes. If both parties agree to play under the time rule, under the expedite, then you can start already a match under expedite. So if you already know I have 2 defenders and this will be a very long day and very long match, they can already start saying to the referee, I would like to play on the expedite, and the other one says, oh, the referee says, okay, do you want to play on the expedite to the opponent? And they say both yes. The expedite time rule is immediately in play. It will continue during the whole match of those 2 opponents, those 2 players. So even if it starts in the first game, this time rule, it will take further to the rest of the games in that match. Question? Can you explain a bit more? Because I play the ball and it hits the net. Yeah. So it hits the net and then hits the net post. So, oh, you mean not the net but the net post? Okay, yeah, yeah. The whole net combination, that's net post, is considered net as a whole, and therefore, what I explained in between is when you hit it on the ball and it comes on the net and it drops here on the metal and then leaves the table. It could be a very nice shot, but it's still a point for that guy because this is a net post and net is not a table. Yeah, even if it's above the table itself. Okay. Um, Time rule. Okay, that's that. We have explained about the. We're going to talk about the different breaks in a game. You will start, of course, with a toss, and with the toss, you decide I serve, I receive, or I choose which half of the table I will start. Then you need to do the warm-up time. The warm-up time is the time that you play with your opponent to get warm for the match and for the first game. This is limited time to 2 minutes. The 2 minutes is the time clock for the warm-up. No longer. It can be less if both parties say, "Yeah, let's stop and let's start the game." And there's another thing. If you're wearing a training suit, yeah, before you start the warm-up, you need to be in the clothing for your match. Why? Because between warm-up and the game start, there must be no interruption anymore. Because if you go from the warm-up, take out your training suit and talk to your coach, which is also not allowed, that's wrong. So from the warm-up, you go immediately to your game. So no clothing, changing, or anything else. That is very important. So no coaching between your warm-up and your game start, and you need to start immediately. So not going to the bathroom or anything else in between. Also, another thing is you cannot call a timeout before the first rally has played. Also, this is to stop um, strange things happening. I had a warm up, and I call a timeout, and I have another minute because timeout is a minute, and I have another minute to do other stuff and talk to my coach. So therefore, it's also not allowed to do that. Also, um, you are not. I will come back to the timeout in a moment to be more precise. So that is important to start immediately after the warm up. During the match, there are two ways to ask for a break, and that's you don't have to ask for a towel break. A towel break, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. Well, the stream will take a bit longer because there's still a lot to explain, and but then I want to prepare you very well for the exam. Good. There are two moments that the player can actually have a break. Uh, there's a towel break. The towel break means that you can take your towel, wipe off the sweat in between. And that's always when the number of points totally is a multiply of 6. That means at the 3-3 or 4-2 points, yeah, you can have a towel break. So you don't have to ask anything. You put your racket on the table, you go to your towel, you wipe off, and you take not too much time, but you take the time to do that. Then you continue again with the match. So this can also be at a multiply of 6. So that 3-3 is of course a good example, but also 6-6 or any other 15-15 is also a towel break moment. Why? It's 30 in total. You can divide 30 by 6, and therefore you have a towel break moment. If you wear glasses like UI is doing, and you're sweating, and the sweat is blocking your glasses, you can ask the referee, please, can I wipe off my glasses because there's sweat on it, and the referee can allow that. So, of course, don't misuse it because then the referee can think, oh, this is not only wiping the glasses, but it's also maybe frustrating your opponent. Also, you can ask that when there's sweat on your racket, when there's water drops or anything on your racket, or if there's sweat on the table surface. Ask the referee, can I wipe off? And then you can pick up your towel, wipe it off. Most of them then also wipe off their face as well, but okay. And that is then the case. Timeout. A timeout in official games is indicated by the referee by a white card. A white card is a timeout card. Normally in the lower leagues, timeout is requested by the player. It's also in the higher leagues, and they do that by the signal timeout. Timeout can be asked by the player, or can be asked by the team um, coach or the team players during a competition match or a team match. If a player asks for a timeout, the referee calls a timeout and starts the clock of 1 minute max, and he indicates the card on which side the timeout has requested, and he starts the clock. The player has to come back to the table within a minute. Can he go to the bathroom? No, he cannot. He cannot leave the arena within 3 meters outside the arena. So that's not possible. If the person who asked for the timeout comes back to the table, the opponent also needs to come back to the table, even if that's after 1 second. So you walk away, yeah. No, I'm going back. Then the opponent needs to come back immediately because I've requested a timeout. I'm the boss of the timeout. I stop the timeout when I want at the maximum of 1 minute because then the referee stops the timeout. Good. You have 1 timeout per match. If you against the same opponent, only 1 timeout. If that's in the first game, second game, fifth game, we don't care, right? Can you take a timeout whenever you want? Yes, except when the game has not been started or the first rally has not been played. So you cannot ask for a timeout after a coach break, because that's another break, between the games you have 1 minute maximum to go to your coach and ask for advice. And of course you can take your towel, you can do anything you want, but this is something you need to be within 3 meters of the arena. When one player comes back from the game stop, the other one can still wait till the first till the minute is gone, and the referee calls the players back, and with the shout out of time. That means we need to continue. That is the game break. We have the timeout. We have the towel break. There's one exceptional break, and that's a medical break. And a medical break is when something happens with the player. If he's got the cramps because he's not well trained, and it's not a medical issue, it's just a poorly conditioned player. If you hit, for example, you hit something and you injure your ankle or something else, and you need some people attending to that, that's the referee can call a 10-minute medical timeout. And this medical timeout is maximum 10 minutes. If you cannot play afterwards, then you have to forfeit the game, right? So that's another issue. In the real referees, they have also cards, yellow cards, red cards, and they can give you a warning in case that you are misbehaving. What's misbehaving? Throw your racket on the table, kicking the ball away, doing this to your opponent, making, of course, curses, um, pushing the table away, hitting or adjusting the net even. So you think, okay, I think it's a bit higher. It's also a yellow card, these kind of things. So misbehavior is a yellow card. In the lower leagues, you cannot give a yellow card. But you can say to the player, please don't do that. And you're allowed to do that as a referee. And of course, if the pressure of the group is there, and the people will start behaving or apologizing. But in the higher leagues, there's really a penalty. Yellow card, first warning for the higher leagues. If it's a second warning for a small problem or a small thing that you did, it can be then yellow and red, which means immediately a point for the opponent. And if the referee shows you another time, this is 2 points for the opponent. And that's called the penalty point system. You can forget about that very quickly because it's only happening in the higher leagues. Yes? That was in the past, that was a problem. Now it's not a problem anymore. Uh, uh, Depending a bit on the tournaments, of course, if you are playing a competition match, it's not a problem at all. You play in the clothing of your club. You need to have uniform clothing. You need to have a short shirt, and sporting shoes, and no long trousers, and no training jacket. That's not allowed, as I explained already. But it needs to be uniform with your team. There can be a difference in commercial outings on your shirt. Let's say we are in the same team, and you are sponsored, especially on your shirt by somebody else, and I don't have the sponsor, but I have another sponsor. That's no problem. So in advertising on your shirt, it can be different, but the shirt needs to be uniform. Only for television reasons they have put in the rules that it needs to be different. But now even with that, with the good quality cameras and so, it is different now, the rules. Good question. Okay. Um, I need to speak to you about the fifth game. The fifth game is played when it's best of five. You know, best of five means we have a couple of. Let's go back. We have a couple of ways of playing a game. It's a best of three, best of five, best of seven, which means that you have to win the best out of five games. If you do a best of five, the best out of three games, we do a best of three. And what happens is that if it's 2-2 in games, there's another game to be played to make the winner. And because you switch sides, after every game you switch sides. So let's say I start here, and the second game I start here. If I start the service on the first game on this end, yeah, then the second game UI is starting on this end with the serve. So the serve always stays normally on the same side. So as a referee, it's very easy to know in your head if that side has started the serve during the toss. You put your water bottle or whatever, or put it on that side, and then you don't have to remember, oh, which side need to serve, right? So you have your water bottle. Okay, that side always serves. So during the whole match against the same opponent, that side is starting the service with the new game. In the fifth game, to make it equal, because it's all about fair play, there can be an advantage that I have better lighting on this side of the table than that side, or maybe the circumstances are better, or whatever. So, in around half the way of the game, you need to change the table sides. So, when does it happen? The first one who reaches the fifth point in the fifth game, and that is so that let's say it's 4-4. I serve, yeah, I make a point, then it's 5-4 for me. I walk to the other side. I need to go, and the opponent goes to the other side. And I keep the serve because at 4-4 I keep the serve. It was 5-4, and I still have one service to go. That's just how it works. And then you play until again the 11th point or 2 points difference at least. Right. So that's in the fifth game. Now we go. That's single. That's really relatively simple. Now we go to doubles, and doubles is crazy. Doubles is really, really crazy. Because in the game with doubles, we have special rules. We know with the serve, we need to serve from my right hand side to the opponent's right hand side, right? So we need to serve that way. We need to play. I start, then my teammate plays, then the second ball, and then the ball comes back, and then I play. So it's turn by turn, right? I cannot play twice because that's wrong, and that's a point for the opponent. So that's doubles. And what happens if I have served 2 times? Yeah. So let's say it's 2-0 for us. Yeah. I go away, and then UI has to receive. So the opponent who has received my serve is now serving on UI. Then after the 2 points made, then UI serves because they change now to the playmate of the opponent, and he's the receiver now. And after UI has served another 2 times, the receiver starts to be served, and we change again, right? And this is happening all the time. How do we decide who starts serving on who on the beginning? Again, this is starting with a toss. We do the toss. We have a winner. Okay, we say okay. This side wants to start the service, and there are two people who can actually serve because there's a double, right? So they decide now between each other who starts to serve. Then the opponent decides who receives. And this lineup, let's say for example that I say, okay, I start serving, and UI is an opponent, and she decides to receive my serve. This combination is going to be the combination during the whole match. So that means that in the second game, when UI starts serving, I receive, right? And in the third game, when I start serving, UI receives. So that's like a pair. The only thing when it goes wrong is in the fifth game, in the fifth point. Let's say that I'm serving at the 4-4 points, right? I'm starting to serve on UI because that is the combination. Actually, in the yeah, that's correct. Sorry. I serve, yeah, I make the point. Now it's 5-4 for me. We change sides. I keep serve because I still have one serve to go. I keep serve, and then I change sides. So I'm the serving party, but now not UI is going to receive, but the other partner of UI is going to receive. And that is the new combination for the rest of that game. And that's the explanation. How can I make it as simple as possible, but it's a very difficult thing, and you need to very watch out what is happening. So be aware that the couple starting from the beginning is always the couple during the game until the fifth point in the fifth game. So that is about the doubles. Coaching. When can we coach? We can coach during the game pause of 1 minute. So between games, you can go to your coach. You have 1 minute. You can go to your coach during a timeout. But there's a new rule. A coach can always coach, and not only a coach, but everybody can coach, in between rallies. So if I'm sitting at the side and I'm actually a bystander, and I see playing against the case in this case, and then I say, okay, and it's in between rallies, and the UI is picking up the ball and say, UI, play on his backhand. That was not allowed in the past, but is now allowed. Can we do that on tournaments? No, because in tournaments it's not allowed. In tournaments, there's a dedicated coach, and he can only or she can only give directions to the player. There's another thing that you need to know. If I want a timeout as a coach, and it's a team match, I'm the boss because I'm the coach of the team. So if UI doesn't like to have a timeout at that point, tough for her. I call the timeout. She needs to come. If she walks towards me and back again to the table, timeout is gone. So she can frustrate the coach a bit if she wants, but it's probably not the best way to do it. But the coach is then the boss. If it's an individual match, yeah, if it's an individual match like a tournament, like a single tournament, and the coach asks for a timeout, and UI doesn't want a timeout, you say no, and the timeout is not used. But she still has a timeout left because in a single match, the player is the boss, right? So that's a big difference. That's a very big difference. Good. When a coach makes remarks during the rally, or anybody else, the referee can ask the person to go away, to be removed. Official matches, the referee has the power. The official NTTB referees have the power to actually remove somebody from the court and give him a red card. Give the coach a red card. Good. A lot of information so far. At the end of the match, you will fill out the forms. You will, of course, congratulate your opponent. Be fair. So even if an opponent has a lucky shot, through the net, things happen. Let it go. Don't upset yourself. Keep the game nice. Don't frustrate each other. And even it's very good if it's a very nice point, a nice rally, that you can say, well, good ball, guys, very very well played point. And if you hit by accident, you hit on the side of your racket, and it goes by accident on the side of the table, yeah, say sorry, because it is a lucky shot and you get a lucky punch point. So be aware of that, and that's what with table tennis is very important to keep it fair. Okay, a lot of information so far. Um, we will, if there are no other questions, Uri, we can check if everybody's ready for the exam. If there are any other questions, please ask them now, so we can ask the questions and go and prepare for the exam. So what is happening? We will start the official exam from the site of Tafel Tennis Masters, which is all in Dutch. So I will translate the questions. I will translate the answers. Then you will get, after the last translation, you will get 1 minute to answer that question. So you cross the right answer on your sheet to the right question. I know on the sheet there are 30 possibilities to answer, but we only have 20 questions. Please make sure that your name is there, your club is there. Uh, if you make a mistake by putting a cross in an answer and you say, oh no, I changed my mind, please circle the right one. So we know for sure when we get the answers that this is the one you meant. This is an important thing. When we finish the questions, I would like to I would like you to make a photograph of the answering sheet and email that to my personal email. I will put that in the remarks on the stream, so you can read that, and then you can send it to that. And when we have these answers in, we will go over the right answers jointly. I hope this training was clear to you all, and then we will prepare ourselves for the test. All right, I'm back behind my computer. If there are no more questions, no? Okay, good. What we'll do now, are you allowed to use your body? In what way? Only till your wrist, when it's holding the racket. Yeah, yeah. So only, and if I put it on the camera here, so till here, if I hold the racket here in this hand, till the wrist up is allowed to hit the ball. Anything below is the point for your opponent. Right? Any other questions? No? Okay. Let's go to the website. This test will be generated by Tafel Tennis Masters. Tafel Tennis Masters is the Dutch site, as you see now, to have the exam. What is the test? So we have random questions, 20 of them. So we only use the first 20 answers. Some answers will be only A and B. Some of them will be A, B, C, D, and I will use the translation time for it. So what I will do is I will start up now the test. Zoom in on the questions so it can be quite visible. And what also will happen is we have a clock, and this clock will be visible here. And this clock will start as soon as the question has been translated. So this is very important. And this is the first question. So I hope everybody is ready. So what it says is question number one. During a competition match, your team player is too late. You're already busy with the double play. So that's the fourth match in the game. It says, what do you need to fill out on the match form? Well, we didn't really go over the match form, but the first game he did not play, right? He did not show. So what should you do on the first match that he wasn't available, and you went on with the fourth match, which is the double? And answer A is put in any game result. It doesn't really matter. So, for example, 11-3, 11-2, 11-7. As long as the total points is 1-0 for the opponent. And that's answer B, answer A. And answer B is no. You have to fill in 11-0, 11-0, 11-0, and explain on the back of the form that the person was too late. So A doesn't really matter as long as it's only 1-0 for the opponent. Or B, no, you need to fill out 11-0, 11-0, 11-0, and on the back of the sheet you need to explain why. So that's the first question, and the time is starting now. Question number 2. You're 10 years old and you're first going to play on an NTTB tournament. Is it allowed for your mother to do your coaching? And A is yes, your mother coach, but she needs to have a diploma of youth guidance. B, no, she cannot. C, yes, it's allowed, okay, also even without a diploma. And D, yes, it's allowed when your mother has a trainer diploma. So A, yes, she can as long as she has a diploma. B, no, she can't. C, yes, she can even without a diploma. Or D, yes, she can, but she needs to have a trainer's diploma. Question number 3. At the surface, so when you're doing a serve, yeah, you hit the ball above the the, the table side, right? So it's not behind the table, but it's above the table itself. Is that allowed? Remember what I told you about the surface. So can you have the ball hit closer to your opponent than next question. By accident, you hit in the rally with your shirt the net. The play is good, so the ball goes well, and it's not outside the table. What will the referee decide according to the official rules? So you hit with your shirt, with your sleeve of your shirt, the net while playing the ball, and the ball is going correctly. But what will the referee decide under official rules? A, it will be a point for your opponent because he's not allowed to hit or touch the net. B, the referee gives a let because he's not sure if the opponent is bothered by it. Or C, the referee will continue play because it's not done on purpose. So A, it is a point for your opponent. B, the referee gives a let because he's not sure that the opponent is bothered by it. Or C, the referee will let play on because it didn't happen on purpose. But that is the question. Question 5. Yeah, there's a lot of things about the rules, and this is about handicap players or para players, and this is something we didn't really cover because there's a complete chapter about this. At a match between two wheelchair players, um, a tire of one of the wheelchair players um, um, breaks or collapses or explodes. What will the referee decide? A, he wants to let the players continue, or he gives a let. So you can kind of guess what's happening because whenever there's something weird occurring during a rally, I explained what the referee will do. So this is also one of these cases. So A, he will continue play, or B, he will call it a let and stops the rally without a point. It was amazing how many different questions there can be. All right. Next question. Question number 6. When you win the toss, you can decide that your opponent needs to start with the serve. Is that A, true, or B, false? So, can you decide if you win the toss that your opponent needs to start with the serve? A, that's true, or B, that's false? I don't start a stopwatch for this because it's a B question, yes or no. We go to question number 7. At the at 11-11, so it's an equal situation in a game. In the first game, 10 minutes are played. What will the referee decide? So it's 11-11, and this is about the time rule, the expedite rule. So it's 11-11 the first game, and 10 minutes real playing time has been done. What will the referee decide? A. The referee will appoint another person to count the returns, and the rest of the set will be played according to the expedite rule. Or B. The referee will let the game continue because there was not a total of 18 points. There was already more than 18 points scored, so the time rule does not apply. So A, the referee will activate the expedite time rule, and B, no, the referee will not do that because already more than 18 points are scored. What do you mean? What's A and what's B? Okay. Well, we can come back on that. Yeah, before you send in the form, please then ask the question on the chat, and then we will see if we can go back on that one. But we will not explain it in too much detail to give the answer away, of course. Anyway, question number 8. It's about behavior in and around the game. You're not agreeing with the decision of the referee. What do you do? A. You will say on an in an easy voice to the referee what should be, in your opinion, the situation, and then accept his decision. B. You will consult with your coach. C. You will walk to the scoreboard and by hand touch the scoreboard and make the situation to what you think it should be. Or D. You will go into discussion with your opponent to find out what he finds of the situation. So A, you will explain easily to the referee what should be the situation, and you will accept his point of view. B, you will consult with your coach. C, you'll walk towards the scoreboard and change the score to what you think should be right. And D is the answer is you will go into discussion with your opponent to see what he thinks of the situation. Hmm? Okay, continue to 9. Question number 9. This is about a timeout. During the timeout, A, the referee will show a blue card and puts it on the table. B, the both players or double players can receive advice. C, only the player who asks for the timeout can receive advice. So, A, the referee will show a blue card. B, both players or double players can go and receive advice from their coaches or from the side. Or C, no, only the player who asks for the timeout can ask for advice. Okay. Next question. We're on 50% of all the questions. Okay. This is about the sequence of serving and the points. During a game, a match, best of 3, every player can. Let me just check first. The question is, during a best of 3, every player can serve as much points until he has 3 points. So actually, what it says, he can serve 3 points in a row. Is that A, that's correct, or B, that's not correct, that's false? So in a best of 3 game, can a player serve 3 times in a row? Is that A, correct, or B, no, that's false? Not going to start the clock for this one. Question 11. It's about the service and the start position. Are you allowed to stand next to the table when you start to serve? Maybe you can remember where UI was standing at a certain point during the movie or during the training. So can you stand beside the table when you serve? Is that A, yes, you can, or B, no, you cannot? Okay, well, let's go to question number 12. This is during the rally about the player. During the rally, you return the ball with your backhand. By accident, you hit the ball first with your index finger, and after that with your black rubber. The ball bounces to the half of the opponent. So this is this return. Is this A correct or B false? So during a rally, you play with your backhand, but by accident, first hit your index finger and then the black rubber of your bat, and the ball bounces to the opponent's half. And is this return correct? Which is answer A, and answer B is wrong. No, it's false. It's not the correct. So that's answer B. So it's not that I'm saying that it's answer B, but I said B is saying that this is a false return, and A, this is a right return. Remember what I told you about that in the training. Good. Question number 13. You lost your first game, and the new bat racket where you started playing with this doesn't give you any confidence. Can you change between the games your racket? There's one thing that during the training was maybe not made clear, but the racket is of course checked by the referee in the beginning, and with that racket you should play. And only when there's a big accident by hitting your racket against the table side or whatever, you can replace your racket. So this is a thing that I need to explain. So can you? The racket is still undamaged. Can you change the racket for another racket between games because you didn't like your first racket where you started with? Is it A, that's allowed, or B, no, that's not allowed? Question 14. Material, the ball and the racket. You play in the competition of the lower leagues, and your opponent has discovered that you don't have a rubber on which is on the ITTF rubber list. What do you do? So your opponent discovers that the racket you're playing with has a rubber glued on it, which is not on the ITTF approved list. That's what it says. A. You are accused of not playing with the right rubber. A. You're going to play with the racket anyway because you have played other competition games also with this rubber. So the opponent should not uh, moan about this. Or B, you exchange the racket. Do a good one. All right. Question number 15. I hope you're still hanging in there. Quite a long session, but I hope it's worth it. Timeout. Hmm? Well done. Yeah. It's the exam. Timeout. Your coach asked in a tournament a timeout. Can you, as a player, deny the use of this timeout? This has been covered in the training very clearly, I think. So your coach during a tournament, so it's not a team match, it's a tournament, asks for a timeout. You as a player, can you refuse to make use of this timeout? A, yes you can refuse it, or B, no you cannot refuse it. It was a short question, so also was a bit shorter time. Question number 16. It's about the surface toss. What is the height that you should reach at the toss for minimum? So what's the minimum height that the ball should be tossed up? Is that A, 16 centimeters or B, 20 centimeters? So you're tossing up the ball, and the ball needs to have a distance between your hand for a minimum of A, 16 centimeters or B, 20 centimeters. All right. Question number 17. I will take away the clock for a moment because it's in my way. This is about the net. What is the correct height of the net? A, it should be 16 centimeters over the whole width of the table. B, no, it should be 15.25 centimeters over the whole width of the table. Or C, 14 centimeters over the whole width of the table. So A is 16 centimeters, B it's 15.25 centimeters, or C it's 14 centimeters. Okay, let's continue to question number 18. It's about double play, so playing doubles. When the serving party of the double has decided which player to start with the serve, then A, the referee decides which player of the opponent on the other team should receive, or B, no, the receiver party will decide which player will receive the serve. So A, the referee will decide which player of the opponents will receive the serve in the beginning, or B, no, at the first game, at the first start of the first service, the opponent will decide which player will receive at first and make the pairing of the couple. Two more questions and we're finally there. It's a long session. Okay, question number 19. The surface toss. Um, so with tossing the ball up, you let the ball roll over your hand to give it an extra effect when you toss it up. So it's not lying still in the palm of your head, but you're moving it and giving an extra effect when you toss it up. What decides the referee? A, he says let you serve again, or B, he gives the point to the opponent. So what happens if you do a serve and you're manipulating the ball by giving extra effect with your fingers? And what will the referee decide? A, he will give a let, and you can serve again. No points are given. Or B, he will give the point to the opponent. Oh shit. But now ben ik nog live? We just had a little glitch, so I'm. Where's my lap? Where's my? Let's see if I'm still live. Yeah, yeah, we're still live. Okay, good. Yeah, we had a little glitch with the computer. Some things happen sometimes. Um, anyway, the final question, because this one we had. Yeah, number 19. Final question. I hope it works. Come on. Oh. It was working marvelously, but now the final question is it's giving me problems. Dat wil niet meer. Trying to solve this situation. Sorry for the inconvenience, but I'm trying to reload. I had an top of my computer and I cannot get to the last question really. De hele pagina reageert niet meer. Okay, I have to resolve it in a different way. That means that I will go to to have one final question in this situation, and that is on the coaching. Yeah. So we get one bonus question, and we have to do it this way. And let's see what the question is. Okay. Yeah. So this is question number 20. Don't be disturbed by question number 1 because I've made all the right answers. I've written them down here as well, so there's no issue. But I need to have another question to come to the 20, and this is and I couldn't restart the to the last question, so I restarted the whole situation again, but just for one question. So this is the final question. This is question number 20. So don't be fooled by the number 1. But this is question number 20. It's about double play. During the double, you need to change the server party after every point. That's the statement. And is the statement true, which is A, or B says it's untrue? So do you need to change the serving party after every scored point? Is that true or not? So A is true and B is false. Okay. So that concludes actually the whole exam. Sorry about the glitch, but we still continue. What is now the next step? The next step is that you take a picture of your form or your digital. It can be as long as it's clear for us which answers belongs to which question, and you can send that to me, and I will put the title in my title editor. I will put in my email address, and please email that directly to me. And what will happen then is no, 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 no. So this is my email address. So please email that to me right now, and I will check my mailbox. And what will happen then is that we will get the forms, and we will check the answers. Normally, I would go through the right answers per question, but since the site stopped, I cannot recall those exact questions, so I can only give the answers which I have here after I received all the emails. So please do that now, and we will take about 5 minutes to 10 minutes break for the emails to arrive, and then we can tell you if you passed the exam, yes or no. So I hope you liked it. It's been a long run, and it's the first time we did it, so it could always be smoothed out a bit, and sometimes technical problems are in the way, but we managed to solve them, I think as good as we can, and I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned a lot today. So please send in these emails, and we will get back to you as soon as we have that in about uh, 10 minutes, and I will put the clock on, so we'll be able to have that countdown going on, right? What is what you will do is this exam is for you to get an SR1 certificate, which is mandatory by the NTTB for every youth player from 13 to 17 the next season. And it's also having an extra certificate for you, so you can with this exam you can get the SR1. You get the official document then sent to you by email after you. I hope that's the question. You wait because I will go over the answers after 10 minutes. If you fail the exam, if you fail the exam, we can try another session. Not today, but we can then try another session by just going over the exam individually, and then we are going to help you with the translation of the questions, and you can do it again. But we need to see that if that's when we do that, that will not be today. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can put in the clock now. Wat zeg je? Ik weet niet, ik moet even kijken. De klok, waar ga ik de klok zetten? De klok ga ik zetten. Nee, hier? Ja, hier. Can you please make sure that you are sending in your forms, because I only received now from Paul and from William, um, and we want to continue and make sure that everybody has the time to send in the forms. So if you haven't done it yet, please send it to the email address which is on the stream, and then we can start. Okay. Okay, time is up. I have received from Stefan, and I have received another email. Well, let's check it out. From Stefan Ardelian and from Sayed. I have received, so I have the sheets in there. For the last two, I have to check. For Paul and for William, um, congratulations. I already checked yours, and you have reached the exam, so you can get an official SR1 certificate. I will arrange that together with the NTTB, that it will be sent towards you. For Stefan and Sayed, I just received them. I'm in the middle of checking them, so if we can wait another 2 minutes, then I will check your scores, and then we'll also let you know if you have managed to pass the exam. So if we have another 2 minutes, that's fine, and I can check your scores. All right. Yes. Okay. We have managed to check all the exams we got in, and I'm more than happy to tell that everybody has passed. So congratulations to you all. It was the first time we did this, and it was also quite exciting. And I hope you liked it. Please leave your comments after this on the video on YouTube as well. Um, the exams have been passed by Paul, by William, by Stefan, and by I cannot pronounce your your name really, Hayel or yeah. Well, I don't want to risk mispronouncing it, but I will email you back and confirmation that you have passed the exam. There's one thing that I cannot do now is go over the right answers and the right questions because the website stopped and these are random questions, so I cannot hold back, come back to the questions we have done in the video. We know, of course, which questions were asked, and I will explain the questions that you have wrong in the email to you, so you can also know what you did wrong. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much, UI. Also, thank you very much for your help, and I will close the stream. And thank you very much for your time and attention. And good luck with table tennis, and congratulations with passing your exam. Thank you.